Hey guys, Bicebump here bringing you this Frost DK Oblit M pre-patch quick guide. Essentially, for you experienced Frost DKs that have played it in Dragonflight Season 4 and just want to understand what exactly do I need to know when I'm playing the pre-patch, what has changed, what is different with my talents, rotation, and so on. So I'll essentially just cover that difference, and this will include talents, rotation, as well as some gearing and Runeforge changes. But jumping straight into it, for your talents, there are essentially three options in a raiding environment. You have two-hand obliteration, dual-wield obliteration, and dual breath of Synagosa. If you look at the raw power in Sims, it's definitely two-hand obliteration or breath of Synagosa that are ahead. And then you have like dual-wield obliteration a couple percent behind. By raw power, two-hand obliteration seems the best, but we all know that breath can always find a way to do really well in a raiding environment. So you just kind of pick what you want. I'm sure that we'll see probably all three builds represented in the top 100 rankings on all bosses. That's the kind of vibe we're looking at here. For two-hand obliteration, the real choice here comes from whether or not you pick up Horn of Winter or like a single point in Housebreaker. You might be a bit confused, like Horn of Winter in a obliteration build, what's going on there? Well, the 45-second cooldown on Pillar now actually makes it really convenient to press Horn of Winter and then go into your Pillar window. You essentially, when you need the resources for it, that's a really good button to just kickstart the Pillar window and make sure you get the most out of it. Other than that, we do pick up Frost's Fury here, but Inexorable Assault is a tiny bit better on pure single target, but the difference is not large enough to kind of bother about it, and Frostburn obviously does so well in AoE, so you might as well pick that up. This is kind of true for all builds, that Inex versus Frostworm is that kind of passive best single target versus active and really good in AoE option. Right, so that's kind of like for raiding. I would say with the Breath of Synagosa build, you have the Enduring Strength picked here. You can obviously go Frostfall's Aid on a more AoE oriented fight as well to get some more kind of AoE power. That's another option you can go for. Now, for Mythical Plus, I'd say that you essentially run either dual obliteration or two-hand obliteration. Two-hand obliteration, you can see it up here, it's really similar to what we currently run. You pick up all the goodies like Glacial Advance, it's all those Definite windows with Oblit Cleave, that's the vibe, but with some extra damage now from the new talents such as Icy Death Torrent. The dual-wield build doesn't run Glacial Advance and instead relies on bursting Razor stacks to do damage using Rune Power. So you have Frost Strike, if you hit that on a target by 5 with 5 Razor stacks, that explodes and deals lots of damage. It's a bit more spread out damage, not as much focus on Definite windows, so do give that a go and see if you like it as well. Right, so those are the talents. As I said, pick what you fancy, and you can always sim yourself to see which one is best for your own character, but I would say that those are the options. Now, rotation-wise, what changes? Well, let's start in a raiding environment with two-hand obliteration. The main difference here is that we have Horn of Winter and Chill Streak being a staple part of the rotation. They're both on a 45-second cooldown and should be used before each pillar window. I would say with Horn of Winter, only really required if you need the resources for it. If you have like ample resources before a pillar window, you don't want to waste a GCD by pressing Horn of Winter for it. But if you're sitting there, you don't have any runes, you have a little runing power, it's a great button to press, as I said, to kickstart that pillar window. Also, important to note here that your pillar windows will be much longer. We are running the long winter talent, which can increase it to 18 seconds. Just be observant of your current pillar uptime, so you know when you should stop the weaving, as we still do with two-hand obliteration playstyle. But other than that, very little changes. You still use Frostworm at the end of pillar, that kind of vibe. Now, dual-wield obliteration is not something we have been using that much, and again, this stays the same. The main difference is that Frost Strike has a high priority to burst your Razor stacks, Essentially, if you look at Frost Strike versus Rime, you use Frost Strike either when you need to stack up your Unleashed Frenzy stacks, or when they're about to fall off, or when you can burst these 5 Rage Rise stacks. You still prioritize, as always, Killing Machine procs when you get them. So, you know, bursting Rage Rise stack doesn't actually take priority over those Killing Machine procs. For Breath, it's a whole different paradigm when it comes to your resource generation. We have lost a lot of stuff that previously gave us a lot of runing power. Things like AIM-Z, giving rune power, that doesn't exist anymore. We only have a single charge of Empowered Rune Weapon. Things like Murderous Efficiency now gives a lesser probability, and we don't have Rune of Hysteria. This means that your breath window is going to last between 30 seconds and 1 minute, generally. It depends on lost and how lucky you are. And then you only get one opportunity to use kind of like every resource cooldown in it. So AIM-Z, and you're going to use that once. Horn of Winter, going to use that once. And Empowered Rune Weapon also just going to be used once. To start off, Empowered Rune Weapon in your first window, make sure you actually use it quite early. The thing is here that since Breath has 2-minute cooldown, same as Empowered Rune Weapon, if you use Empowered Rune Weapon after 40 seconds, the next Breath won't be able to use Empowered Rune Weapon until 40 seconds into that one, right? So you need to be aggressive with Empowered Rune Weapon so you have it ready for your next Breath. Horn of Winter, again, use it when you don't have any runes ready and you don't overcap on runing power. Same thing there. AMS, just use it when you kind of need runing power. And try and space out the cooldowns so you don't overlap them all and end up wasting lots of runing power. You want to space them out evenly to maximize the duration of your breath. Furthermore, this is Omnifrost gameplay, which essentially means that we have both Breath of Synagosa and Obliteration at the same time. How we do that is actually quite simple. You essentially don't really care about the fact that you have Obliteration. It's not like you're going to generate any Killing Machine procs by anything other than Rhymes and Soul Reapers, right? So when you do press your Pillar Frost, don't ever press Frost Strike still. It's just that when you get procs of Rhyme, use them to get Killing Machine procs. That's nice. And if you're on Execute, use a Soul Reaper as well if you're healthy on Runic Power. That's the kind of good. That's what we're looking for here. Now, when it comes to Move Plus and AoE, two-hander plays exactly the same as previously. It's all about your kind of Death and Decay windows. One thing to note about Death and Decay, obviously it will now last for 14 seconds in total. Since we have this new mechanic where you move out of your Death and Decay, you get 4 seconds left of the duration, and that works when it finishes as well. This means that you get better overlap. However, we still have the long winter, which means that our pillar window is really long. This means that generally, what you want to do, as always, go into pillar window, generate 2 Killing Machines procs, and then pop down Death and Decay and start to cleave, right? And that's true for all builds. As I said previously, dual wield, that's all about your Shattering Blade. Frost Strike ends up being a rune power spender in AoE. Great, so that's the kind of rotation covered and the new cooldowns and how we use those. They're not new cooldowns, but they're actually used in new ways. Some other important facts: our best trinkets looks to be Nefarian's Call to Suffering and Whispering Idol. A little bit of a change there, but you can always sim your character. It doesn't, you know, it usually depends on your stats and whatever. When it comes to Rune Forgers, that's something we do need to cover. So Breath now runs Rune of Razorize on the main hand and Rune of Fallen Crusade on the offhand. Dual Wield Obliteration runs same thing, Razorize main hand and the Fallen Crusader offhand, and then finally two-handed build always just runs Rune of Fallen Crusader. Same gear as before, essentially, same embellishment, just run Blue Silken, that's the best by far. Right, that was a quick guide for you guys. Hopefully that's useful and it helps you transition into the pre-patch. I think take the opportunity here to really try out new things, see if you can find some new interesting talent combinations or something that really, you know, enlightens the gameplay, right? Leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought about this video. Upvote, downvote, subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.